Boom. Now we are officially ready. We on now. We on live for real this
Woo!
time. So who we got? Who we got? Let me get that again.
I gotta take a sip of that coffee. Today we got the best thing going in the art world today. You're talking to the Nature Boy, Art of Death, baby. Live on the Rolling Pin podcast.
It's epic.
WWE, AEW, NXT, New Japan, everything in between. You're talking to the best host with the best podcast in the game right now, baby. Woo! You don't believe me? Look at my eyes. You're getting it from the top. Woo!
Epic. Yo, that was sick, man. That was sick. Thank you. Thank you for saying that was the best podcast. I think I got one of the best artists in the community as well. So I went ahead and brought Daniel on today. Should we call? Are you Ricky Flair? Can we call you Ricky Flair?
Yeah, you could call me that. You could call me Nature Boy Art of Death.
Yeah, Nature. We got Nature Boy Art of Death.
Just don't call me the worst.
Yeah, we got the Nature Boy Art of Death on today, and I wanted to bring him on because I really like his artwork, but not only his artwork, but the way he actually styles himself to match the work that he does. As you can see, he's been Goldust before. You see Goldust in the back. I was gonna show him Goldust.
Oh yeah, there we go.
He's been Goldust before. You've been the Undertaker too, right?
Not really, but I did do a little photo where I had the white eyes and everything.
Yeah. I can appreciate this. This is something that is new. This is something that I wouldn't do. This is something that a lot of artists aren't doing. That it's hot. I like it.
I appreciate that. For me, I try to incorporate my personality in a lot of things. Of course, some things they have a more serious tone, and it doesn't call for, a character or to be funny or to be anything like that. But I grew up on Fresh Prince, so one of the people that I looked up to a lot was Will Smith. From getting girls to how you interact with your boys to just being a character or whatnot, right? So. Growing up with that influence, it kind of rubbed off on me, and then I'm this free, expressive person that I am online today, even in my personal life. But like before social media and all this, I'm just the same dude, man. So
I like that.
Anybody will tell you that.
Right. How long have you been paying for?
Sorry.
How long have you been doing art for?
I've been doing it since the age of 4, and there came a point where I stopped doing it because I was getting a lot of negative feedback in terms of people discouraging me, telling me it's not a career path. You're not gonna go anywhere doing artwork. There's no money in it. So I stopped doing it for like 7 years.
What age was that? What age was that when? So you started at 4, and then you met a wall of negativity. What age was that when you met that wall of negativity?
That would be around my early adult years. So somewhere around 1920. Somewhere around there. Yeah. And then, I got to a stage because I deal with depression and anxiety and, all the issues that come with that. So I got to a point where I was starting to feel all of that again.
I like that. So being, I think looking at you right now, it looks like from my perception that you're overcoming that pretty well. So is wrestling art your primary focus, or do you paint a wide variety of things? I see a lot of wrestling art coming from you, but is there is wrestling the main component of what you do?
It's part of it. I mean, the Undertaker was the first piece that I've done in terms of wrestling art of my adulthood. So
can we bring that to the front?
Yeah.
Let's take a look.
Actually, it's on the easel, so
okay, all right.
I doubt it will fall. But So that was.
It looks dope from here. Like I can already tell. Like I see half of it, but it's pretty cool looking.
Maybe I can move.
Yeah, there we go. We in the studio, y'all. We in the Art Death studio.
Right.
Nature Boy.
So that was the first piece I'd done. And people gravitated towards it, even people that weren't wrestling fans. So I was like, you know what? I want to do a few more characters. There's a lot of characters that you can work with, and I'm coming off of comic book art, so I like the costumes. I like the elaborateness of things. So it's like, okay, boom, I need to do something outlandish. So that's how Goldust came into play.
I like that.
And then I'm like, okay, what's another big character? I was gonna do Rey Mysterio, and Jeff Hardy. I was like, nah, I need a follow up to Undertaker. So boom, came about. So there's definitely more coming. Right now, I'm in the thought process of doing a Bret Hart piece, and that's just because that's the dude that got me into wrestling.
Bret Hart.
And, yeah, Bret Hart, and also he plays for home team. He's Canadian, like I'm Canadian. So
okay, are you in Canada right now?
Yeah, I'm in Toronto, Canada.
Oh, shout out to Toronto. I didn't know where you were at. I wanted to say shout out to all the Canadians.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bret Hart and the whole Hart Foundation. This is mine. This is the Stone Cold that I just did for 316. But
awesome.
I don't have any issues with my work. I'm just looking at your work, and I'm saying you use acrylic paint, and I use acrylic paint. But if I look at yours like even this Undertaker piece looks a little bit more refined and detailed. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to figure out, is it a brush I'm using? I'm trying to figure out, is it paint or the brush? Because I'm using acrylic too, 100% acrylic. I'm trying to figure out.
Right. So
what technique?
So it's a combination of things. So it's a combination of things. For me, I layer my work, right? So if you check out my time-lapse videos, it starts off looking nasty. Right? And then as I build the layers up more and more, then you start to see the piece come together. So I always suggest building up the layers. Think of it almost like the human body. You start off with the skeleton, then you're going to get into the muscles, then you're going to get into the skin, then you're going to get into the fine details like the hair and what stands out, the eyes, everything else like that. So part of it is technique. The other part of that too, that I tested out on this piece, Undertaker, I did something called glazing, right? So yes, you'll see like the skin tone, but then you'll see like a purple hue over it, right? Which adds a bit of a three-dimensional look going on.
So how many layers do you usually incorporate in, like I said, let's say Undertaker? How many times do you go over the same spot? Because I seen one video you were doing with the hair, and it was like it's already painted in, but it looks like it's just going and over and over again. So, but how many times do you go over something like this until it becomes what you want it to be?
So it really depends on the piece, but typically I'll say about 5 layers. You know, when I hit that 5th layer, then I'm pretty much good, and I might do little touch-ups here and there.
Do you wait for it to dry completely and then go over it, or is it more like while it's still kind of like damp, the paint?
So with the dry, and then I go in with my next layer.
You say you let it dry all the way?
Yeah. So acrylic paints, I let it dry all the way completely, right? And then I go with my next layer. And that's just because of how acrylic paints work. With oil paints, I let it get a bit tacky sometimes, and then I'll go with my next layer. On my last 2 layers on oil paints, however, I let it dry completely, and then I lay those on.
I haven't experimented with oil paint at all, for real. And I'm looking to do that sometime this year. I wanted to start off with acrylic because, one, it was a little bit cheaper as I was experimenting. I wanted to jump in with the acrylic. So the oil painting, how much different is the oil paint from the acrylic, would you say, from your art perspective?
Let me tell you something. It is significantly different, down from how it looks, down to how you work with it, everything. But what you're doing is right, though. You're starting off with acrylic, get a little bit comfortable, get your swag. Then now when you go over the oil paints, you're good. Okay. So what you're doing, you're on the right track.
What difference? Would you say the major difference is between oil and acrylic as far as the technique goes? Like how much of a difference, or what is the difference? The major difference you think?
So I'm not gonna get too technical, but I'm gonna stay on the look of things. In terms of the look of things, you can get it looking much more realistic with oil paint, and that's just because of the blending properties, right? Working with the acrylics, you probably know it dries fast as hell, man.
Yeah, it does.
So trying to blend and everything. Yeah, so trying to blend and everything, like it's pretty difficult. Oil paints, you don't have that problem.
I got
Like
you.
it's everything just goes so smooth.
How long did it take you to finish these two in the back? Like how long did you
Um,
take?
Undertaker took me about maybe 2 weeks.
Okay.
Um, Kane is a funny story.
I think
Kane,
I think I seen you painting Kane too.
yeah, and but see, here's the thing with the Kane piece. I started it last year when this lockdown stuff first happened, and then I put it aside, and I honestly forgot about it.
I got you.
Ended up moving at the new crib now. Came across it again. I was like, man, let me finish this piece. So I can't really give a time frame on that because it was just kind of in the wind. But even Goldust took me about 2-3 weeks, and that's just because I applied a different technique with the diamond dust on there.
Yeah, I like the
Which
hair.
was
One thing I was intrigued by with that gold dust painting is the hair, because it's very detailed as far as I can see each individual hair, and it separates itself from the forehead to the actual top of his head.
right.
And this is a question for me personally because I'm gonna end up having to do something like this. What, I guess, how did you? I'm looking at it like I can see it. How yeah, there we go. How, I guess, when you did you do all one yellow, and then you went back and then you kind of use the black for the hair, or like what do you do for the hair? Because the hair don't look like it's completely black. Those little spikes in the middle.
Right. Well, here's another um, tip and trick for you that
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
yeah.
incorporate.
Gems,
Here's
gems.
what a lot of artists don't consider.
Yeah, drop the gems.
When you're doing your portraits, any type of work, the more color you use, the more realistic it's going to look, the better it's going to look. The
Okay.
reason for that is even us, like just out in the world, on the camera, whatever, the whole light spectrum is bouncing off of us, right?
Okay.
So somebody might look at us and see tints of red, tints of purple, tints of yellow. So the same thing applies to your artwork. So with this hair from Goldust, it's not just yellow and black. I got a bit of red in there.
Okay.
I got a bit of
Damn, I don't even
brown.
see it. It's crazy because I don't even see the red. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, and that's the thing. It's because also when you blend it, it's all gonna flow together. And certain things come into play primary colors, complementary. That's more technical. But
I got you.
yeah, the more you add in, of course you don't want to go crazy, right? Like I wouldn't throw in pink here. It doesn't go with the picture. But when you add in certain colors and shades, it adds more depth to it. It makes it look more three-dimensional.
I like that. How so I guess did you go to art school or did you learn naturally over the course of just trial and error?
So a bit of both.
Okay.
I went to some art courses, but I didn't officially go to an art school. When I was in school, high school, elementary school, I always was involved in art courses, right? And then even outside of that, I would do art courses in the summer.
Okay.
Um, but for the most part, and technically, I'm just self-taught.
I got you. Have you ever got one of these pieces to an actual wrestler? Because Undertaker, I'm sure if the Undertaker seen that, he would take it. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. No, I haven't, man. But I really want to. I really want to. The difference between Canada and the States is that, and I envy you guys so much for this. You guys have access to these people, whereas Canada, we don't really have access to these people unless they come up and do a Comic Con or they do a wrestling signing convention type of thing. But yeah, if Undertaker's ever up here, you could bet your ass
Do you
I'm going.
do you how far are y'all from New York?
I'm about an hour flight from New York.
Oh, hour flight. So the drive is probably
Yeah,
what, like 4 5 hours, something like that.
yeah, maybe about 6 hours.
Yeah, yeah. The reason I was asking is because I know that that's probably the closest, biggest city to Canada that you could probably find those wrestlers at and whatnot. But
Right.
yeah, that's the reason why I started the Rolling Pin podcast, or at least a part of the reason. I'm looking to make sure I showcase the artist one and doing my best to connect the artist to the end, whoever they wanted to be towards. You know, if you see me tagging the wrestler or whatnot. So hopefully these type of videos and whatnot get that type of exposure. And like even Ric Flair, like if he sees, you know what I'm saying, Ric Flair, he got it. How can Ric Flair not fuck with you if you're not, you know what I mean? Like if you're going to this extent, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
We know he would appreciate it.
I mean, the Migos didn't put on a wig and glasses and got the pyramid ring in the
They
drip.
didn't do that. They didn't do that. They didn't do that. They didn't do that. They did not do that. Yeah, man. So I appreciate it. So Art of Death, what does Art of Death stand for? And you know, explain that whole story on how that came about.
So it's actually very basic. Art of Death is just my name, Def Daniel E. Forster. My brother, who's also an artist, who basically taught me a lot. That I went to him, I was like, you know what, I'm really gonna turn this art thing into a career, and I'm gonna blow with this. And I didn't know the name. I was like, I don't know what name to give myself. He was like, why don't you just do Art of Death? I was like, man, that's corny. That's trash. Yeah. I was like, you know what, whatever. I need to get this thing started, throw it up. It worked. The people liked it. The 11/11 part that comes into play again. I go through these cycles in life. I'm not going to get too spiritual and out there now. But so with the 11/11, that came at a point again. Depression hit. I had a bunch of things going on. My first child, my daughter, was on the way. Father was sick, ended up passing. Relationship problems, family problems. So all this was hitting at once. Thank you, I appreciate it. And I kept seeing this number. I kept seeing 11/11 everywhere, and I've taken pictures of it. I'd be in traffic behind a bus, numbers on the bus, 11/11. Pass by a gas station, 11/11. Somebody's license plate, 11/11. I'm watching a YouTube video, 11/11. So I'm like, what the hell is going on?
I like that.
Looked into the meaning. There was a few different things that it said, but I took it as a message trying to be communicated to me, because that's one of the translations that said, you know, angels are trying to communicate with you, telling you everything is going to be okay. I took it on as my moniker because with my artwork, a lot of the pieces, I'm communicating a message to the people. So that's why I took on the 11/11. You know, and hopefully through some of my pieces, I could bring some light to some people. Or even if it's just stuff like wrestling artwork, man, hey, that makes people feel good.
I like that, you know, and I'm glad I asked that question, because when I was looking at 11/11, I mean, I knew that it had some type of significance, but not to that extent. So thank you for sharing that. And that's amazing. And going back to the whole name, Art of Death, I mean, even the Rolling Pin podcast is like, the shit just be a name. It's all about what you make the name, you know what I mean? It's like Nike, like what the fuck, like, you know what I mean? Like this shit just names, like, but it's all about how you do it. And I think you do.
See, but I dig your name too, because it's like a double entendre, right? Because you also cook, right?
Yeah,
you get that.
Well, I, you know what I mean? I experiment in the kitchen from time to time, but cooking is not my main thing. I used to work in the kitchen when I was like, I had a minimum wage job in the kitchen where I used to wash dishes. I worked with a couple chefs from time to time, and I had a catering business with my son's mother until coronavirus took over, and then that, you know, shut everything down. And you know, I had to not sit on my ass. I was like, you know, I can't just sit here. So what can I do to make sure I keep my name, you know, as Gary Foods, but also get into something else that I love? And Rolling Pin Podcast started. You know what I mean? So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
that's awesome.
And in the meantime, though, like, since coronavirus has been hitting, though, I've been in the kitchen, you know what I mean, just to save money. So I've been whipping up some things.
Nice. Stay off that Uber Eats and all that.
Yeah. So it's been amazing. Yeah, I think coronavirus has definitely, you know, shifted everything into a, you know, another direction. And it's looking good. You know what I mean? You know, I would have probably never done this if we weren't trapped. If I didn't think we were going to be trapped in the crib. You know what I mean? Because at first I was like, when the coronavirus started, I was like, damn, we about to be stuck in this. We about to legit not be able to go outside type quarantine for real. Lockdown.
Well, according to the conspiracy theorists, I'm not gonna get deep.
No, don't get too deep.
We're supposed to be like this for 2025. So
wait, we're supposed to be like this until 2025?
Until 2025.
Okay. That's just a prediction. Yeah. That's just a prediction.
Yeah, I mean, but it's a little different when big companies are putting out commercial ads and they're talking about that. That's when it gets scary because it's like, what are you trying to tell me, Amazon? Like, I don't like that, but but I say that, if it happens, it happens, but prepare yourself, right? Nobody was prepared before. So
no, definitely. I think what I wanted to do is just make sure I just went on the offense. So if I gotta do this until 2025, you know what I mean, then you know what I mean. And I would have never jumped into painting or anything like that if this shit didn't happen for real. I would have been out and life would have been normal. But since I was indoors, you can't just be at these four walls because shit, you be going fucking crazy, just like sitting around like what the fuck, you know what I mean? So I just channel my.
So let me ask you this, because I got a question for you actually.
Yeah, what's up?
So with you being new to artwork, how has that helped you with your mental state, with just your day to day, and in terms of connecting with the people and whatnot? How has artwork helped you?
Well, going back to artwork first, how it started. I started when I was younger, but painting came when coronavirus happened. I've been drawing and stuff before that. You know what I mean? So I transitioned from drawing into painting kind of fairly well because I already knew how to draw.
Right.
But as far as when 2020 started with the coronavirus, I mean, I just found a new passion and a new hobby. I didn't realize that I could do this. So mentally for me, it was a milestone for me to say, damn, I've unlocked another side of my mind or my brain to I didn't know I could paint. You know what I mean? I did not know that before this all happened. And the fact that I am doing it and to this extent and people are starting to like it and gravitate towards it, it really means a lot. You know what I mean? It's just a concept in my mind that you could put on the canvas is always nice. And you can visually see it. So looking at something that you had originally birthed in your brain and then it comes to life is automatically a win. And I'm sure you looking at the Undertaker the same way and Goldust the same way to say, like, man, this is nice. It's always gonna be those minor tweaks and whatnot that you want to fix, but at the end of the day, you're like, damn, like I like this. You know what I mean? So for me personally, I'm excited. I'm happy. You know what I mean? I'm happy that I'm doing that. As far as the audience goes,
that's awesome. And one thing, yeah.
Oh no, I was gonna say as far as the audience.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. I was gonna say, I like connecting with them too. This is the reason why we're here. If I couldn't paint, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation. So, a part of outside of the Rolling Pin podcast, I don't really socialize with too many people in the real world because, we don't have that many commonalities. Wrestling is a commonality that we can all, get behind. So that's the reason why we're having this conversation too. And this is how I practice my social interaction to make sure I'm just not like an antisocial, you know what I mean, fucking guy. So the art helps me communicate to other artists, you know what I mean, in a way that everything just kind of makes sense.
That's awesome, man. And one thing I gotta say too, one thing that I really like about you is you put in the work, man. Like I see you work really hard. It doesn't matter, how many people are there, how much traction a post picks up or whatever. You put in the work, man.
Yeah.
Whether it's one person or 10,000 people, you're still putting in the same amount of effort. I respect that. I respect the hell out of people like that because it shows that they really love what they're doing.
That's what I was gonna say. It validates my own self. You know what I mean? I'm not looking for the external validation more so as I am the personal self-satisfying validation that I'm actually doing something that stems from my childhood. You know what I mean? It helps me. It makes me feel like a kid,
Right.
Yeah. So, and I have a son too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had a baby in the back.
Yeah. So,
I got mine downstairs with the ladies. So, I was like, listen, I'm hoping podcast. This has to be right. I got to do this right for my man. You got kids outside.
So the thing is, and I hope when he gets older, he sees it and he's like, his father's cool. And he also sees that he can still remain himself and do what he likes to do and actually, go somewhere with it. You know what I mean? That's kind of my goal, So, thank you, man. I appreciate it. Nobody's ever asked me.
Yeah. Hey, man, they say give people their flowers while they're here, man. And trust me, I know how rough it is sometimes sometimes, and to have somebody actually see something in you and point it out, it's very encouraging, right? So, yeah, man.
This whole episode,
big ups to you, man. You're working.
This whole episode, we're gonna commemorate. We're gonna get us to Ric Flair too. You know, we gotta give him his flowers. We gotta give Ric Flair. Ultimately, that's what we're doing. You know what I mean? So
yeah. Hey, any of these people in the back, get it to them, especially Goldust. And the reason why I say Goldust is I don't even think Dustin Rhodes, that's his real name. I don't even think he realized how big of an impact and how big of a task that he did. Like, okay, Goldust wasn't world champion, he wasn't WWE champion, but the fact that he did something so out the box that it opened up the way for a lot of other people to express themselves within the wrestling world or even just in life in general. So
he's like the wrestling prince.
There you go. There you go. There you go. I remember that video that you posted me. You said he had freaky vibes. So
he got the freaky vibes. He put that tongue out. You see that tongue?
Well, even if you remember the stuff with him and Booker,
yeah,
that was hilarious. Hilarious. So
he actually. Hold on, wait. Give me time out. Hold on.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Let me get him. He always wants to make an appearance. Let me see the conversation. Come here. I think every time he hears me speak, he wants to, you know what I mean? He wants to see what's going on.
He wants to be involved.
He wants to be involved. So here you are, buddy. Again.
Hey, big fella.
Yeah, this is yeah, so yeah, one thing about Goldust though is like one thing about Goldust, he did it at the right time. Like the Attitude Era was the right time where titties were flying, middle fingers were flying. Anything pretty much went. So I think the way he came, I mean, today, that character would be just as good. You know what I mean? Like in today's time. But I think he came in at the right time and he did that. So Dustin Rhodes, if you see this, you know what I mean? We want to make sure we shout out Goldust because everybody shits on Goldust. You know what I mean? Everybody be shitting.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize like he's a pioneer in a lot of ways, man. Like you said, to do that back then, that was a huge risk, and that's bravery, man. That's bravery. Because they would say, you know what?
Because I didn't mean to cut you off, but like that was the time where people were really like taking wrestling very, very seriously. You know what I mean? You had Stone Cold, Stone Cold Steve Austin, who was like fucking hard ass, and then you had Goldust. Like people like Stone Cold, so imagine that Stone Cold energy just thrown on the Goldust, like from fans. That's serious.
And then even aside from that, like you had DX too. Mm-hmm. So the whole WWF at the time, it was a rebellious movement.
That's what I'm saying. Like
you know that shit
was real. So, it was real. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Goldust survived. I don't know how he did it, and not even just that era. Looking at Goldust and his family legacy, he could have messed that up. He could have messed the legacy. That was a risky. That character was risky. You know what I mean? He could have. You had roles. You know what I mean? You could have just do it all the way. But he's doing good right now, man. He's doing good.
Right.
I think just
the thing that. So I was gonna say the thing that also helped him out too was the man can wrestle, yo. He can go.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, he's not a dud. He's not just here's a character. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing behind it. It's like, here's a character and also beat your ass. Like
going back to Ric Flair, I want to talk about Ric Flair again too, because speaking of characters, Ric Flair, unlike Goldust and Dustin Rhodes, Ric Flair can actually separate himself from Ric Flair. That was the dangers of Ric Flair. Ric Flair, he was losing himself to that life, that real life, that he was living. You know what I mean? And that shit could get dangerous. And that's one of the things that he spoke about when he was old, when he like at his age right now. He's like, damn, I should have toned it down just a little bit in my real life. You know what I mean?
Right.
I was really attracted to those women, and I was really attracted to, you know what I mean, doing what I was fucking doing. He was him on camera and off camera. So
yeah. Well, look at it. He didn't he just get remarried like a few years ago? I'm gonna say like 4 or 5 years ago.
I don't even know. I gotta highlight my damn Ric Flair. I got my Ric Flair in the background too. Shit.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, we gotta make sure. We gotta make sure all connect. You know what I mean? It's gotta all connect for Ric Flair.
That's right.
Shout out to Ric Flair.
He's legendary, man. He brought he brought the prestige and the you know what? I'll put it like this: what Diddy is to rap, Diddy and Bad Boy in that era, that's what Ric Flair brought.
I like that. Yeah, you fucking right. Yeah, damn.
Yeah, he brought the gold bottles of champagne. That's what he did.
So what's next for Art of Death? What we doing next? What's I mean, as far as projects or anything like that, how can I promote you, or what can I do? What can the Rolling Pin Podcast do to make sure your art or whatever you got going on moves to the next level? So
the best thing for you guys watching, just share my work, man. Share my work. Get on the YouTube. The YouTube is where I have a lot of art tips for people looking to get into art, but I also have some videos where I'm just talking about life in general, how it relates to art and trying to inspire people. So get on the YouTube. The YouTube is Art of Death. You'll find me there. In terms of what I got coming next, I'm currently working on a book. So a lot of the things that I discussed here, I'm going to be going more in depth, and you're going to see how this whole thing comes full circle. I'm also going to be having some more projects where I touch on the more serious issues. But also, like I said, I got Bret Hart coming. There's a few more wrestlers that I got kicking around in my head that I wouldn't mind painting. Jeff Hardy being one of them, man.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, even
he's got a lot of colors. He got a lot of colors that's associated with him.
He does. So that'll be a very interesting project to do. Even the Fiend, I love that character. So even Alexa Bliss, oh my gosh.
Right now, what you think about them right now? The Fiend and Alexa Bliss.
I dig it. I dig it. The problem that I have with a lot of the characters right now, and I watch on and off, but I feel like they get to the edge, but they never jump over and go full out.
What do you mean by that?
So let's take Roman Reigns, for example, right? Roman Reigns, I like what he's doing. Mm-hmm. He's a heel, he's causing problems, but I haven't really seen him do anything that makes me say like, yo, this guy's not to be effed with.
I got you. Wait, you haven't seen Roman Reigns do that yet? You don't think so?
Not yet, man.
Damn.
Not yet. You got to remember, I'm coming from the Attitude Era,
okay,
so
yeah.
I'm not one of those people either that compares everything to the past and it was so good back then and everything's trash now. That's complete nonsense. There's good product out right now. They just got to do it in a different way.
I got you.
But like I like Roman, but I want to see him do something so dramatic that you're like, damn, like I don't even want to make eye contact if I come across him first.
He's got like blackout one time.
Right. That's what I want.
Maybe even snap on Paul Heyman.
Hey, man, it would work. Yeah. I gotta say though, Jey Uso, he's the most entertaining bastard in wrestling right now.
For real? Jey Uso?
I love him. He gets his ass whooped all the time, but when that guy touches the mic, he has your attention.
Yeah, I like Jey Uso too. It's pretty cool. Yeah, so that was Art of Death, everybody. He was in the Rolling Pin Podcast. Actually, there was Art of Death, Nature Boy, Art of Death, Ricky Flair. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all stay tuned, and I'll just keep bringing artists on. That's my job. You know what I mean? I just want to make sure I'm promoting the artists in the right way, making sure everybody has a spotlight on the Rolling Pin Podcast from the top to the bottom to the top, man. Everybody's the same.
That's right. That's right.
That was it. All right, man. I'm gonna get up.
All right. Thanks a lot for having me on.